Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vibes. And I'd love to welcome here Katische Haberfield. And she is a medium, and you're also an author and a poet.
Yes, I am indeed. Yes. Thank you for having me today, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Well, tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure, I'm just a regular girl who, like everybody else in life, has ups and downs, and we all struggle with emotions and the things that go on in our life where we think should have, could have, would have, didn't. Why didn't I? And I guess I've also experienced exactly the same as everybody else. I've set myself goals and not achieved them. And I've had unexpected things thrown at me. And for me, I had what I would classify as a wonderful fairy tale kind of a childhood. But as soon as I hit adulthood, things went differently to expected. And so I guess since becoming so-called an adult, and particularly most particularly since I decided to get married and then have children and then get divorced, the getting divorced part, like many people on this earth, threw me into a bit of a tailwind and a spin of emotions. And I guess what I've done since is try to find small moments of happiness in my life, to safeguard the emotional health of my family and those around me, but also most importantly, myself. Because when we look at ourselves and help manage our own happiness and mental health and understand the range of emotions we have as human beings, we understand that the most important thing is to, in every second, look after our own mental health and understand that the definition of happiness is different for you and for me, but we don't have to have that sugary coated pink icing kind of a happiness that ultimately makes you sick because it's like bursting a bubble of reality because it's not real. So that is how, following my curiosity, my passions and my interests, despite my fears, has helped me find little tools that I use every day to help me find moments of happiness, if that makes sense.
And when did you notice that you had abilities?
Oh, that has sort of been, again, mostly in terms of emotion, I've been empathic my whole life. I call myself the human water fountain because I will pick up on energies and I can feel the emotions of people around me. I can feel beings around me that haven't crossed the light, but most intensively since COVID lockdown, really
Oh,
intensely
wow.
since COVID lockdown. And I think that was because it was time for me to bring my skills forth, but also the world was shut down, isolated from people, and we were all dealing with the emotions of fear and grief. And not in our living memory had we experienced this before. And so I was brought through to extending and expanding my skills, especially in mediumship, so that I could help, I guess, understand my skills and help move some of the energy that I came across on Earth so it could reach the light, so that it could move from being in fear to being in happiness. So yeah, really intensively over the last, what is it now, last 5 years. But as I said, gradually throughout my whole life, it's been about learning emotions, mindfulness, and then a lot of different healing modalities to understand how I could use energy, understand energy, and then how I could be of service to people as well as myself. Yeah, so it's been a continued journey, but really intensely in the last 5 years, really intensely.
Now, you work with angels, correct?
Correct, yes.
And do you actually speak with them?
I do speak with them, yeah. They're involved in my work, so my therapeutic work with helping people understand their limiting beliefs, their fears, their emotions, and helping them heal that. The angels are a very important part of doing that, because they have special energetic rays which can help heal, especially emotions. Um, and I have also been working with them in a channeling capacity to particular archangels are my closest three, actually. Archangel Azrael, which is the work with them with helping with people that are stuck and haven't moved to the light. Archangel Zadkiel, and Archangel Michael. So I guess Archangel Michael is the pin-up poster boy that everybody knows. Everybody calls on Archangel Michael in their time of need. But I have been working with Archangel Zadkiel more intensely in the last year and a half. And he's who I have been learning to channel to help people understand everyday common spiritual questions. And in particular, we work together to bring through some messages to help people understand the role of pets in their life and how pets help us, help calm us, help heal us, and the reason that pets come in our life to help us navigate through our emotions and ways that we can understand our emotional attachments to pets. And it's been surprising, and they like to be less formal with me. They like to joke around, and they like to bring through little messages from my own life that surprise me and sometimes embarrass me, but they always have a spiritual and a humanistic message that will make me laugh, and sometimes it makes me cry, but it's to show that I'm not making it up, if you know what I mean. Because when you bring through something that you're like, either, oh, I kind of had a feeling about that, but there we go, that's interesting, we're going to say that live on a recorded video, or oh, there we go, we just brought through that little insight from my personal life, and geez, I wasn't going to think about talking about that. That's how I know, and other people know, these beings are real, and they're here for good, and they're easier to contact and access. All you have to do is have a thought, which is the greatest intentional energy of the universe. The energy is made up of thought, and how you think can send energy in ways that you want to. And if you wish to speak to an archangel, you just need to think, and that sends out the message. And so you don't have to be somebody special to speak to an archangel. Just everybody anywhere can simply say in the middle of the night, help, or whatever you need to. And I also like to remind people about their guardian angel. You don't have to have a religious belief in angels, but your guardian angel, if you can't sleep at night, you can just say in your mind or out loud, please wrap your wings around me and help me go to sleep. And it works. It's fabulous. It's something that I've only tested out this year. And if you do have insomnia and you ask your guardian angel to lie beside you or wrap their wings around you, you will have a much easier time in going back to sleep. So yeah, they have some wonderful messages to bring through in times of crisis. And in times of looking for happiness, they're wonderful at bringing signs and synchronicities into your life to help you see things that bring you joy that might not get to your attention otherwise. That was a lot, sorry.
Did they come to you in the beginning, or do you just called out to them?
I always felt the presence of Archangel Michael around. Even back when I was traveling as a teenager and 20-something, I would end up going to locations and in hindsight realized that I'd been somewhere that was really spiritually significant for Archangel Michael. In my particular circumstances, Archangel Michael has been very avid as a protector in like vehicle accidents and things like that, where you would think that you might get completely driven off the road, and myself and other people sense this energetic presence that has pushed away a vehicle. Or I have not had injuries where I should have had injuries, or my car has not been hurt where it should have been really badly written off. So there are these kinds of signs that he's always been around. And then I'm a sort of an evidence-based person, so I have hired mediums to help me with my work and to answer questions in the early days before I believed that I was even a medium. And like the very first message from the first medium that I ever hired was, Archangel Michael's here. And he's laughing, and he says, your purpose is to work with the angels and the archangels. And you're like, that had nothing to do with why I hired you, but there we go. That's a way to start. Yeah. So they've always been around, and they've been around in all lifetimes, helping me try to understand fear and to navigate through the heaviness of thoughts and emotions when I've been faced in terrible situations where the reality has not met what I know of life or the way the world should work. And sometimes you don't get the message, and they do joke with me about that. So yeah, it can be hard to get the messages through, but in the right time, when you're ready and open and willing, they'll come through. And your heart center is the center that will be the one that expands as you work with them, because they want you to feel joy and happiness in every day. They don't want you to ignore what's going on in the world that's negative and ignore the reality, but they want you to see the blessings in all of the hardship and to be able to cope, because they just don't want you to be stuck in a mental space of negativity. They want you to know that the negativity that you're feeling is there for a reason, and there's wisdom in there. But sometimes we just have to deal with our own emotional blocks in order for the heart brain synchronicity to really work, so that you can see the light in the darkness. I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan, but I'm a big fan from when I was a child, and the analogy that they always show me is the old Dumbledore saying, if only you just turn the light on, and in the middle of your fear, you will be shown the light, and the light to them represents the wisdom, and that wisdom is the reason why you're feeling the fear. So in the moment, it's very hard to work through an emotion of fear, and we get all sorts of bodily symptoms, stomach cramping, headaches, nausea, anger, agitation, frustration. And there's always layers of emotions under the word fear, or the feeling of fear. And when you dive down deeper into that emotion of fear, you can ask why. So why do I feel this, and why do I feel that? And just keep going with the whys. And when you get to the final root cause of that why, it'll be the reason that there's something for you to know about this. And sometimes it's safety. Yes, don't go that way. Don't go to that pub. Don't go to church today. Don't go to that supermarket, or don't take that job. But sometimes it's you've been here before, you've done this situation. You feel bad about it because there's a lesson that you've been trying to learn, and now's the time to learn that lesson and not make that same mistake that you've made before. So the wisdom is, you feel the fear because there's either something that you don't want to repeat, or there's a message there for you. And when you can unlock that fear is the same as excitement. It's just a different perspective. And so as soon as you're able to unlock the fear and get the wisdom, that energy shifts into the positive, and you feel excited about whatever it was that you needed to conquer or redefine or change your perspective on. And as soon as you can feel that excitement, you can feel curiosity, and you can then see all the potential wonderful opportunities that could arise from it. And you stop worrying, which is what we're trained from birth to do, to worry. Bless our mothers and fathers. They taught us to worry well because they worried well and their grandparents worried well. So we're experts in worrying. But if we change the worry, if we can change the worry into curiosity, to say, I wonder, imagine if, could it be possible? Then what we do is, in our mind, we open up pathways of possibilities. And the stronger we feel the possibility, the stronger the path. It's a bit like the Robert Frost poem, the two paths diverged, but there are multiple paths that diverge. You just have to see what looks in your mind, if you close your eyes, as a path with lots of debris and bushes, what looks like the path is opening up a little bit, what looks like, a clear path, what looks like an amazing, beautiful path, and go with what you're being guided to go down that feels the best. So you know what's best for you. We all know what's best for you, but sometimes it's just a little bit clouded, and we act against what is best for us as individuals, not what your mum thinks is best for you, and not what your dad thinks is best for you, or your wife thinks best for you, or your brother. It's about you and your journey. and it can be hard to navigate. So I think they're beautiful beings to help us navigate the complexities of being a human being.
Do our loved ones that have passed on, do they become angels, like guiding angels for us?
Yes, they can become, if that's what they choose, absolutely. So, depending upon what they decide once they go to whatever you want to call that space in the afterlife, they have like a chat with the angels and they work through the emotions that they felt in their lifetime. The angels give them a wonderful opportunity to review what happened and from the different perspectives of the people that were involved with them in their lifetime. And most of all, the angels show them that, yes, we humans require forgiveness, but angels see it as a learning activity. So they really do spend time with our loved ones, showing them that angels have already forgiven them. There's nothing to forgive. God or whatever being that you believe in or don't believe in also doesn't require that, because you were here to experience and to learn something. And you're a human being and they trust that you tried your best, and we all get led astray. Um, but yes, particularly they come back as guides to us and angels, and I've seen this in sessions that I do with my own clients. um, when they know that you are in trouble or you need some help, they will come back specifically as a guardian angel or spirit angel kind of being, because they don't want you to be worried or afraid, and so they will be a presence strongly around you. And as you tune into your own senses, you will begin to see the signs. They start out with, significant songs that you had with loved ones, or kinds of music, or places that you went to, or flowers, feathers, rainbows, even certain animals and pets can be them hopping into that body, so to speak, for a moment to bring you some comfort. So they definitely can be around, but they also can decide to simply be connected with you when you come back. They're there for you when you come back. Sometimes, if they've had a particularly different and difficult lifetime to what they expected, they go to these beautiful healing halls where they get treated by the angels to beautiful love sessions, I guess is the best thing, where the angels pour their energetic rays on them and they help them heal those emotions. And there's also beautiful schools where they can go to learn lessons on things that they consider that, they wish that they had done differently in their lives. So there is training there about how to be a better human, so that next time they can live differently. And I find that comforting because, I'm not perfect. I don't think you are either. So,
Far from it.
yeah, so I think it gives us great, we know when we look at our parents as they get older. My mum's in her mid-70s now. My dad died a long time ago. But you know that as you're growing up, your parents aren't perfect and they say things to you and they speak to you in certain ways, and you miss opportunities because of circumstances in their lives. And they wish they could give you everything, just like I wish I could give my kids everything, but you can't. And sometimes we hold grudges towards our parents. And it's just wonderful to know that they're being taken care of once they're there. They've been taken care of, and they are the most amazing beings, and they're showing kindness and love. And there's nothing to fear about our parents dying, because, we get tired as grown-ups, and sometimes it's just time. And the best thing that we can do with aging parents, and I know this from having my father died at only the age of 63, is to make peace with your own aging process so you can make peace with theirs. And, I have had a lot of friends with people who've had parents struggling with dementia and Alzheimer's and all sorts of things as they've grown older. And you have to leave the image of your parents that you have, this sparkly image behind, and learn to find the joy in the aging parent that you've got, which is very difficult. It's very frustrating. But if you can see your aging parents as a beautiful service to helping them, because their brain's going, I still feel like a 16-year-old, but I'm in the body of an 80-year-old, and I've got all these frustrating emotions, and all these things are starting to not work in my own body, and I feel scared, and my parents are gone a long time ago, and I don't want to be vulnerable to my kids. Help, I'm afraid too. If we can find small moments of joy with them by playing cards with them, or going over for the 700th, meal this week or whatever, or listen to the same story, or remind them, yes, you already told them that this week, and here's how you use Facebook Marketplace, and a few things like that. They feel joy by doing stuff that they weren't able to do, that you can do easily. And when they do go on and their time is near, the best thing you can do for them is to ask for the angels to be present to help comfort them in their last moments, and to help bring in somebody that's special to them, because when they do go, they're not alone, and they can be surrounded by all sorts of wonderful beings and people and pets and angels. And when we can help them confront their fear of death, they can see the happiness and the joy that's waiting for them, and they can see how excited the people on the other side are to catch up with them again. And then they can go gracefully despite the illness or the pain that they're in. And that helps us let go. And when we help ourselves let go after the normal grief process, we help remove those feelings of strong attachment, like I'm not going to cope if they're not here. And then you can find in your own mind and memory the happiness that you had with them. And it's the happy times that you'll remember, and the wonderful memories with your family, rather than the sadness and the regret. And the archangels just always ask me to remind people to remember their loved ones in their best light, because they are human too. And when you look for the small moments of happiness you had with your family, your whole family moves through grief collectively better. And then you can get on with the rest of your lives, and they can be allowed to be your guides. If you hold them back with all the strong emotions that you felt about them, then they can feel that energy, and they just want to be shed of the things that they did right or wrong. They just want to be this beautiful spiritual being, and they want to show you what they can feel about the reflections that they've learned. And what I've learned from having my dad be in the light is that he'll make me laugh now, and he'll switch the songs on the radio, and he'll put big bright rainbows when I'm feeling really down that shouldn't be there. And it will make me cry sometimes. It'll make me laugh, but it shows me that he's still there, and he's okay. So yeah, looking for those moments in our memory help us solidify the happiness in the small interactions we had with our families, no matter what happened between us in our lifetime.
And you communicate with other people's loved ones?
Yeah, through mediumship sessions. Yeah, I do. I have a specialty in that I can set an intention and bring through people in sessions, and then I also usually get bonus people. And what I call bonus people are not the usual grandmas and aunties and uncles who have a direct message. They can be spiritual beings who you won't recognize necessarily, but they have got something profound to say as well. So yeah, often people from other lifetimes and other pets and animals. So I find that very interesting, because there's always synchronicities in terms of connections. When I do mediumship sessions, people will be like, okay, that was interesting. That was weird. I wasn't expecting that, but that was good. That was fun. And yeah, I feel a sense of relief and a sense of joy now at getting that message, which has made me feel comfort and has answered my fears. I guess we're always afraid that they're not okay, but for most people, in most situations, they are okay, and that's why they've come through to let you know that they love you and they're okay.
Wow. And you see those folks as well?
Yeah, so I see them. The way that I've trained is I'm like divide. If you imagine you close your eyes and you divided the blackness into a quadrant of 4 sections. So divide your screen into 4, and then they show me in an energetic representation where they fit on my quadrant, so I know how they are related to you. And they show me the ways that are the strongest in terms and representations that would make sense to me so that I can convey the information. So my mind has reference points based on how I've lived my life. And so they will show me an image of them, and then I will have to work that out, how it makes sense to me, and then relate it to you. So characteristics, I might call something a pork pie hat, for example, which is like a British term, but you may have a hat where you live which is similar but has a different name. But we get it at the end of the day. You get the kind of the special hat that person was wearing, or I might have a reference that makes completely no sense to me. Sometimes they come through in songs, give me songs or things like that. And it means nothing to me, but I'll be like, it sounds like this. Or I might say, there's this particular, November Rain song or something like that from Guns N' Roses, or maybe there's a Midnight Oil song for Aussies or whatever it is. They'll give me some analogies, and it won't make sense to me, but it'll make sense to you. Yeah. And so quite often it's very insightful, but mostly it's just healing and emotional in a good way, because it's we all have worries, and it just answers your worries. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do this like over Zoom?
Yeah, it's just done via Zoom. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm in Australia, but I think it is 78% of my clients come from America, and the rest spread around the globe. Almost nobody comes to me from Australia. I don't know what's wrong with us Aussies, but everyone comes from America predominantly for me. So apparently I make sense to you guys.
That's pretty incredible. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do so?
Yeah, they just go to my website, which is just my first name, Katische, so katische.com, KATISCHE.com. I've got all sorts of weird and wonderful things that will either make sense or totally be confusing, but if you want to have a look through there, see what appeals. If not, I've got a podcast you can listen to, or you could just come and check me out on Facebook or YouTube. But it's all on that one website. That's the main place to find me.
I'll put those links in the description to make it easier for folks to find you. But
Thank
Katische,
you so much.
thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button for my regulars. You guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. And also, may I mention, YouTube has decided to do their little audit, and I've lost almost 500 subscribers. So check to see if you are still subscribed. And everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network